Hey, it's me. Today is a squishy makeover. Oh, that sound. Ew! So my last squishy donation unboxing video was fun. I wouldn't want you to miss that quality content, so go watch it if you haven't already. I demand it! Definitely the most requested squishy from that unboxing was this piece of work. You guys are gonna ask me to do it, aren't you? Go ahead, start typing. Next, I saw a lot of comments requesting this little teacup.
Oh my gosh, this is so cute!
I think the biggest reason that people were requesting this teacup, though, is because I said, I have a teapot. This is the teapot that I spoke of. I think it's only fair to make these two together as a set. Move over, come back.
Come closer.
Normally, I do 3 squishies total, but I think I'll squeeze in a little bonus today. Have a cookie. You're welcome. Let's jump right into squishy roasting. So we're starting with this train wreck. We have several things written on it. Help me. Please help.
Help me.
And there's a massive hole in the bottom of it.
Don't go in there.
On the top, there seems to be quite a lot missing, but I did find an Australian coin shoved in one of the crevices. Thank you. Little surprise in this dollop of frosting, which says flat.
What the heck?
Also some sort of heart bead. Let me just take off this kind of ribbon thong that it's wearing. More money. A secret message in here. It's either fair with a weird R or something else. I'm not really sure. And oh, look at that. There's more. There are a couple mutilated strawberries. There's this... no idea what that is. I found a Christmas tree. Christmas tree. This.
What is that?
And gathering up the rest, let's really dig in there. Oh, wonderful. It's a bunch of chopped up phone. I think we finally cleared this thing out. Anyone left in there? Last call.
Come out, come out.
So this is everything I pulled out of there. Admire it. I've got some work to do on this thing now. The top is in really bad shape, so I'm actually just gonna chop everything off instead of trying to repair what's left of this. It's a complete mess. There are too many little tiny pieces. It would have just taken me way too long to try to reattach all of that piece by piece. Oh, I just noticed that that's a smiley face drawn on there. Creepy. So I just smoothed out the top completely. Well, not completely, it's still really chunky. I found these in my collection, but I'm primarily interested in the little dollops of cream on the top. One is not quite like the others.
You got a small dollop, man.
So yes, I am going to remove those little dollops.
You monster!
Don't worry about these. I'm sure I will eventually make something out of these in a future video. Here are my dollops. 3 of the same size and 1 that's a little small. So I'm just trying to figure out how to not make them look awkward together since they're not all the same size. I decided that I needed to fill in the gaps in between, so I'm using a couple of the strawberries that I salvaged from the top. I found this ripped mini squishy that I think is a cookie. Not to be confused with this cookie. We'll deal with that one later. And continuing with the fruit theme, I thought that this could possibly pass as like a half of a pineapple ring. Maybe a bit of a stretch, but I'm going for it anyway. I found a little leftover wedge of a lemon squishy. I honestly don't even remember where this came from. I think I'll take a slice of that too. Oh yeah, that's the one. And for the last piece of fruit, I'm cutting it out of memory foam. And yes, I started with a chunk that was way too big.
It was an accident.
And this is gonna be a blueberry that's somehow larger than 2 strawberries put together. That's fine, we're moving on. I'm going to take some slick paint and start attaching all these pieces with the paint. Usually, I would glue the pieces on first and then use the paint to just kind of fill in the gaps. But since there were so many pieces that had to be attached to this one,
I didn't feel like it.
But I wouldn't recommend doing it this way because it's actually a lot harder when everything is sliding around. Let that dry. So now everything is secured on there. I'm going to turn my attention to the large rips in the cake. This time I am going to break out my fabric glue. So I'm just applying a thin layer of glue in those rips and then using some rubber bands on there to keep it closed while it dries. And 30 minutes later, the cake is good as new. Well, not quite new. There's a missing chunk there. It looks like teeth marks from an incredibly small human.
Hi.
And to fix that, I'm just going to use a small chunk of memory foam, glue it in there. I decided to just kind of hold it there instead of using a rubber band because
I didn't feel like it.
why was I being so lazy that day? I don't know. What was I saying? Oh yeah, then I trimmed the foam down to blend it in with the corner of the cake, and I'm gonna take my paint and, oh yeah, the glue wasn't dry. I just had to kind of mash it in there, slosh some paint over it, and just cover it up the best I could. While I'm at it, I'm gonna go around and fill up any cracks, chunks, and rips that I see. In fact, there were so many cracks and damaged areas, I ended up just kind of coating the whole thing in a layer of slick paint. I mean, yes, I am gonna paint over the entire thing anyway, but when I do the decorative paint job, I use a mixture of slick paint and matte paint. Oh wait, this is a moment.
Fingers down my side. Girl, you look mighty fine. Won't you rub your fingers down my side?
Okay. I do all of the repairs with straight slick paint right from the bottle's mouth, and that definitely helps cover a lot of the rough areas and smooths everything out. Finally, everything's in one piece. I'm gonna use some white matte paint, and I'm just doing a base coat with this. It's just so much easier to paint over white than trying to cover all the craziness that was going on before. It just saves a lot of time.
I love a fresh white squishy.
So I'm mixing the colors for my cake. I'm adding a lot of white to each of the colors because I'm going super pastel for this one. Here they are. Why are you so wobbly? Ah, there's a little nubbin on there. Let me get rid of that. I'll just kind of cut toward myself. Oh, nope. Okay, there we go. This was such a long process getting up to this point. The repairs just took so long, and I was so eager to get to painting. I've actually been looking forward to painting a cake like this, even though I've been sent this cake 2, 3, 4 lots of times. It wasn't until I get this little gem that everyone is suddenly interested in seeing this one get a makeover. You guys like to see me suffer. But I've had the idea to do this cake in pastel rainbow for such a long time. Of course, I didn't plan on having to completely scalp the thing and start from scratch on the toppings, but that's fine. I am doing a blended rainbow look for the little dollops and also for the filling, and then I'm using the same pastel colors for the fruit as well. Obviously, they're not very natural colors. These colors are a little iffy for fruit, but you know, I wanted to use the same colors just for cohesiveness sake. I actually quite like the way it looks right now with the bright white, even though that was just supposed to be a base coat, but I am going to stick to my original plan, which is to use a vanilla cake color for the cake layers. What kind of cake even is this? I don't know. I've never eaten a cake that looks like this, but I want one.
I demand it. Get me.
Cake.
Okay, that's the last time I'm going to use that bit. I'm moving on to the top, which I am going to keep white, but I'm going to use some slick paint and make it a thick layer of white so that it looks more like frosting. Finally, I felt like I should add some detail to the fruit because they were looking a little bit like pale blobs. So I just want to be clear that these are fruits. They definitely look weird in these colors. The pineapple may not even be recognizable. I don't even know what that looks like. So here is the final result. I put so much work into this squishy. I hope you like it. No, you know what? You better like it. I'm just kidding. Oh look, they both have the word me on the bottom. Personally, I love it, and it's a massive improvement from what it was before. I love how the colors look. I love how the filling came out. It's so pretty. Somehow, glitter got all over the bottom of it. Did you do this? Bonus, it can breathe. Yeah, it's alive. There's probably still some sort of creature living inside of this thing, so I guess it makes sense. Okay, moving on to the teapot squishy. Now, this one actually wasn't sent to me. I bought this online probably around a year ago to do a squishy makeover on it, but it hasn't gotten much use or attention at all. Weird. There are a couple holes in it. It just came like that. Notice the eye is a bit droopy there. Yeah, hello. And I thought Crooked Eye Marie was bad. Let's just create a new face. The first step with this one is going to be to sand it because the surface is very smooth and this will help the paint stick better. Now I'm bringing in this cake chunk. The cake part is just kind of trash. But since the rose is still intact, I'm gonna use that as decor on my teapot. So I'm just cutting that off. and it's gonna go right on the front of the teapot. I'm trimming that up and getting rid of all the extra foam on the back so that it lays down nicely. Then there's this little bump out for the shape of the lid, but I'm actually gonna smooth that out and try to get rid of that because I want to change the shape of the lid. I need that space to fit my giant rose. Here I go, gluing that on there and securing it to dry. Nice booty. There we go. Now I'm going to fill in that little gap with some paint just to give it a nice seamless look. And also I'm gonna try to smooth out the area that I cut into. I definitely should have taken more time to smooth out that area with my scissors because it was really lumpy. I had to do so many layers upon layers of paint to correct that when I could have just taken some extra time to trim it up a little bit better and saved myself the trouble. Oh, you got a booger. Just right there. Oh. Wow. I think I ended up doing like maybe 10 layers of paint to try to smooth out this area. It was really extra. Finally, I've gotten rid of that lumpy chunkiness and I'm painting this white. And this time it's not just a base coat because I am actually going to keep most of this white. I feel as though many of you were expecting me to turn these into Mrs. Potts and Chip from Beauty and the Beast. Do Chip from Beauty and the Beast.
Chip and Mrs. Potts.
Teapot into Mrs. Potts and Chip. Do Mrs. Potts and Chip from Beauty and the Beast for the teacups. Like if you agree.
I do hate to disappoint you if that's what you really wanted to see. Of course, I think that would have been cute. I personally just enjoy creating my own designs versus using a character from a movie or TV show or something like that. Out of all of the squishy makeovers I've done, I think I've only done one character from something else, and we all know how that went.
Wait, what?
Don't worry about it, Marie. I don't know. I just get so much more satisfaction from creating something new out of my head. I wanted to do a nice, proper looking tea set with the rose and nice little golden accents. I wanted sophistication, refinement. Turns out that's easier said than done. This is one of those where I'm just like making it up as I go. Like, what is this little shoulder doohickey right here? I don't even know. Once I got to this stage, I felt like it was basically done, but there was still something missing. I tried adding some polka dots. I hate that. I hate that so much. I ended up stepping away for a while, came back the next day, and decided to add some little gold detailing to the edges of the petals, and I think that helped a lot to make it look more finished and put together. Here's the before and after. I don't necessarily think that it's so much better than before. It's just quite different styles. Before, it was like a wannabe cute, but just kind of derpy. And now it's like wannabe sophisticated, but I do like it, and I do prefer the new one. My favorite part has to be the gold on the petals. If I hadn't done that, I feel like I wouldn't have liked it that much, but that was just the right detail to pull it together. Although I do feel like maybe something is still missing. Oh, the teacup. So here's the little teacup that is gonna go with it, the sender's initials written here. And I mean, you know, it's cute, it's small, but it's a little plain. It's one solid color. There is a small amount of damage, but nothing compared to what we've already seen today. So I'm gonna quickly repair the damage to the handle, and just like that, I'm getting to the paint. Here goes more white paint. I think I used like an entire large bottle of white paint for this episode. Once I've gotten this little teacup completely white, I'm gonna add the tea in there, fill it up. Is this the right color of tea? I feel like it's so wrong, but that'll do. This is part of the same tea set as the teapot. Of course, I'm gonna go for the same feel, so I'm painting a rose on the front, but I am gonna use a different color because, you know, I don't want them to be like exactly the same. Give this little guy his own identity, and that looks kind of ugly. The dark lines were a little bit obnoxious, so I went over that with a lighter shade of blue to make it look a little bit softer.
Yes, that's better.
Now for the little leaf, which was terrible.
Just no.
So let me fix that up a little bit, okay? I am gonna add a gold rim around the top of the cup to match with the teapot, and The tea color definitely looks wrong now, so I changed that to a darker color. Finally, I'm gonna add a few more little gold accents, but just a side note, I did remove the gold outline that's around the outside of the flower, which you'll see in a second because I thought it looked
ugly.
Oops.
So it definitely has a lot more detail now and looks a lot more interesting and unique, so that's good. I think it's really cute. For some reason, I really like how the tea looks when you squish it. I don't know, I can't explain it. I just like it. But I definitely don't like it as much by itself as I do when it's with the teapot. I think they look really nice together. You know, they complete each other. But you know what? They need something to be even more complete. And you know what they need? This cookie. Where did this cookie come from? I have no idea. So this may be a cookie, or it may be a really small cruller donut. Take your pick. Or if you use your imagination,
It's a pineapple ring.
No.
either way, it is really boring and it's dirty. So let's freshen this up a bit. I'm gonna pull out the strap. And then I'm gonna paint it with a cookie color, suspiciously similar to the vanilla cake color. And once the whole thing is completely covered, then I'm gonna add some shading. My goal was to make this somewhat realistic. I made this just for the tea set. I thought it would be nice to add a little tea cookie thing, you know, nice cookie thing tea set, but it looked a little too bready, so then I added some powdered sugar to make it look a little sweeter, like a cookie. And voila, it's done. Pretty quick and easy, and here they are all together. I think the cookie does add a little something extra to it. I'm a big fan of this little tea set. So, oh, no, don't dip the cookie in the tea. That doesn't even make sense. Oh, I'm feeding you. I'm feeding you now. You know what we need to do now? Have a squishy tea party. There's only one cup of tea and one cookie, so who gets it?
Oh, this is the worst party I've ever been to. Where's all the food?
I'm bored.
We could just maybe share the teacup.
No! This is boring.
So, I thought this would be cute, but it's actually just kind of creepy and weird, so never mind. On that note, I hope that you guys enjoyed this squishy makeover. It's weird, I didn't do any animals and not a single sprinkle to be seen, but I still really like what I made. I hope you guys like them too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye!